How y'all doing today? That's good. I decided to do this outside. I need a little exercise, so I figured outside would be as good a place as any. Don't mind me if I smoke. Sorry, still one of my vices. Atheism. As I explained to you in my last video, I'm an atheist. What I'd like to explain to you here is what exactly an atheist is. Excuse me. Kind of chilly, I gotta put my hat on. I gotta explain to you what an atheist is, but let me first start by describing that there are I say three general groups of people that you'll find. There are those that believe in God. They're called theists. There are agnostics. Agnostics are, I like to say, on the fence. They're not sure if there is a God. They're not sure if there isn't a God, and they believe that it can't be proven one way or the other. And then there's atheists. Atheists, for the most part, say there's no God. Some atheists really should classify themselves as agnostic just because of their beliefs, but I'm not going to get into that at this point. Really, it's about atheism and what it means to me. There is no God. I mean, that's what it is for me. It's not something I have to try to prove or disprove. Quite frankly, you can't prove a negative. So when I say there is no God, there's nothing for me to prove. So when I speak to people of religion and they come up to me and they say, well, you don't believe in God. I say, no, there is no God. They say, well, prove that. I can't. You can't prove a negative. That's impossible. Of course, when I ask them to prove that there is a God, I get the standard responses. Well, you know, there's the Bible, and you have to take it on faith, and it's all bullshit, quite frankly. There is one underlying fact. Every human on the planet is born an atheist. If you are a religious person, you are taught religion. You are not born religious. You are not born with any understanding of God. If you were left to your own devices with no teaching whatsoever, and you never heard the words mentioned, you may never come to the conclusion that there is a God. In fact, only through indoctrination, and really that's what it is, do people end up believing in God. Excuse me. So with that being said, what does atheism mean for me? Well, again, like I said, there is no God. So from that perspective, there's really nothing, there's nothing more to say on that topic. I believe in critical thought. I believe in reason. I believe in rational thought. You know, when I was younger, I was a little bit more hot-headed. As I've gotten older, I've become a little more pragmatic. That's a lie. I've become a lot more pragmatic. I don't dislike people of religion. I think they're misplaced. What I don't like is the idea that they indoctrinate their kids. I believe that they should choose a path similar to the one that I chose with my kids. The path that I chose with my kids was when I felt they were old enough, my wife and I took them to church, to Sunday school. We sat with them. We sat through the lessons. When we returned home, we discussed as best we could, as best you can with kids that are are 4 to 7, 8 years old about what they learned over a period of several years, and yes, it was several years, and it's several years I had to endure being an atheist going to church, but it was for my kids. We took them to a variety of churches. We were members of the United Church, but we took them to the Anglican Church, we took them to the Baptist Church, we took them to the Pentecostal Church. We subjected them to a variety of styles of religion so that they could have a better understanding. As my kids reached their preteen years, about 10, 11 years old, we gave them a choice. You can either choose to continue going to church or not. I'm not going anymore. Lucy, my wife, she wasn't going to go anymore. It was now up to my children to decide. And the path they originally chose, two of my girls continued because they had made friends in church, but they came home with lots of questions. And as they saw how the church functioned and what they were being taught in school, and what, of course, whatever information Dad could provide for them, and of course you have to remember that a lot of this is before we had the internet, at least out where we live. Their questions were very pointed, and they were very interesting. Some were somewhat difficult for an adult, myself, to try to explain to a preteen. But each one of my kids has grown up now believing that, well, I think two of them are agnostic and one of them is dead set atheist. And I say that because we don't generally talk about it, and it's not a question, it's not a topic I bring up with my kids. And I've told my kids, you've got to choose your own path. Just make sure that you're thinking along that path. Make sure that you're choosing a path that is going to satisfy your life. Now with that, what I've noticed in my kids and what I've noticed in myself is that as agnostics, or in my case an atheist, I don't hate. I don't have that. I don't have that emotion in my body. I dislike things. I become bewildered with the actions of some people, but I don't hate. And I think that's mostly what atheism is supposed to be about. We're supposed to see the world as one. We're all one people. Interestingly enough, I meet a lot of atheists online, and I'm sorry, I'm not pointing my finger at anybody, but guys, when I see you online and I hear some of the things you're talking about as atheists, you're bigots, you're racist. And that's not what atheism is supposed to be about. Atheism is supposed to be that you're indifferent to religion, you're indifferent to bigotry, you're indifferent to racism. We're all one people. And really that's the way it should be. I mean, at the end of the day, when you consider that however we got here, what science has taught us is that as individuals, our lifespan is a blip on the radar. We're here and we're gone. When we speak of the whole human species, it's inevitable, I think, that our species will go extinct. And there are a lot of people that would like to think otherwise. But even in the scope of how our solar system works, eventually our sun is going to engulf our planet is going to be destroyed, and it's going to take all life with it. Now, of course, if you're a futurist and a hopeful futurist like I am, by that time we'll have discovered a way to travel through space. So we'll already be looking for someplace else to live. But by the same token, today, with the hatred that exists between the religions, I have to tell you, I'm not very optimistic. Even in my own country of Canada, we're seen around the world as being the laid-back individuals, the people that are we take in immigrants and we help people out. But even when I watch and read online and watch the news, again, I see the bigotry and the hatred, and I really don't understand it. We're getting mad at a race of people, and it's actually several races of people. We're grouping them all into one basket, and we really shouldn't. I got to tell you, in my lifetime, I've spent enough time in my lifetime dealing with people of religion, and I have to tell you, I've seen a lot of bad Christians, a lot of Christians that so I'm just trying to check my time here. I've seen a lot of Christians that don't practice as they should. I've seen a lot of Muslims that don't practice as they should. I've seen a lot of Hindus that don't practice as they should. But we shouldn't lay that on the whole of the religion or the whole of the group of people. I know, and I'm going to speak specifically to the Islamic State and Muslims in particular. I know a lot of Muslims. I've had a lot of Muslim friends over my lifetime. When Lucy and I were not really foster parents, but we took in exchange students, and that we took in several Muslim students, and I still stay in touch with them today, and I see how they made out and see what they're doing in life, and these are wonderful people. I would love to have these, as much as I love my own children and would never get rid of my own children, I would love to have these kids as extra children living with me. They're just fantastic people. They've just turned out to be fantastic people. So, I mean, really, to get back to the idea of what role atheism plays in my life, I think atheism has made me that better person. I'm not tied to a God, I'm tied to humanity. And because I'm tied to humanity, I see all individuals as being in need. What are they in need of? Well, some are in need of housing, some are in need of clothing, some are in need of a good smack in the side of the head because they got way too much money. But that's another topic altogether. The one thing that we are lacking, though, is as atheists, it appears that the largest group of us are becoming very angry, and we can't let that happen. We simply can't. We need to let the world know that we're well, I would hope, for the most part, that all of us are pacifists to a degree. I know as an atheist, I don't believe in war. I don't believe in violence. I know it occurs, but I also know that there has to be answers to this. As an atheist, I would ask my fellow atheist friends to look inside yourself before you criticize someone else. Really, the question you need to ask yourself is, would you want to be criticized like that? And of course, many of you are going to say, well, we already are criticized like that, so why shouldn't we throw down with them? Well, that's the difference between pragmatic people, realistic people, critical thinking people, and those that just want to fly off the handle. I, like you, see the hatred that's thrown against an atheist. I belong to several groups that are open to both theists and non-theists, and I listen to the hate. I hear the hate. I hear the hate being thrown at atheists, and it's not fair. It's not right. But I don't throw it back. As much as I think they're wrong for what they're doing, it is their business. And only through education can they realize that maybe they're wrong. Some people might condemn me for the next statement, but I know I'm not wrong. I mean, there absolutely is no God. It is merely a matter of time before the rest of civilization realizes that. So the atheist in me makes me a humanist, and I consider myself to be a natural humanist. And again, that natural humanist means that I respect everyone. Hey, you know what? I get into arguments with people all the time, and I get upset with people, but that's part of life. But I won't get so angry and so distraught that I have to put them down. That's wrong. What we need to do as atheists, if we're going to win this battle, what we need to do as atheists is we need to show people of religion that we do have a set of moral values that doesn't have to come from a Bible, doesn't have to come from Scripture, doesn't have to be preached to us by someone standing in a pulpit. It's sad to think that there's a whole pile of ministers out there administering the Word of God to people for millions of dollars. And the millions of dollars that they're taking is not going to charity. I mean, one example is one particular minister, I won't say names because I don't want to be sued, but one particular minister has gone out and told his congregation that he needs a new 65 million jet. Are you kidding me? Take the bus, fly commercial. And if the people in his congregation are stupid enough, and I say stupid enough, to fall for that kind of crap, you deserve to have your money taken from you. But I'd ask you to do something. If you're one of those persons that gives money to a minister who's looking for those types of things, take a look at what atheists want. We don't want your money. We want to show you that there's a different world. We want to show you that there's a different understanding. We want to show you that there is a world beyond religion that is so fantastic and available to everyone. At the end of the day, it really only requires that you change your mind from one of indoctrination to one of critical thought. But that's what it means for me to be an atheist. And I hope that as we move forward, more and more people will come to understand this. I know my kids have, and my kids will teach their kids. I know my grandkids are already starting to question the idea of there being a God and a creator. So, you know, I think as a final note, I think what I'd like to say is to my atheist friends, let's stop the bigotry. Let's stop the hatred. And stop the name calling. Individuals involved in religion are misguided. We need to put them back on the right path. And we're not going to do that by being bigots. Let's not be what they are, because that's exactly what I see a lot of them being. So I hope this helps explain a little better why I'm an atheist. And if you have any questions, you know, the comment page below, you know, go ahead and ask them. I'm open to questions. Again, Angus MacDonald. I hope you like my videos, and I'll try to get them up more often. Thanks.